Hello guys, how are you? How are you doing? How are you feeling? Now this is a video that's very different. I've been keeping it upbeat and fun for the last couple videos, but this is a video that I've been wanting to film for a while now. I haven't been able to actually sit down and get the words out, but I feel like now I have my thoughts together to be able to put it into perspective for you guys and kind of explain and make sense of the whole spiel that is the fact that I hid my skinny body for 3 years. Thankfully, this is something I have overcome, but I always think back to the days when I really wasn't okay with my body. I was so unhappy. I did everything I could to make myself look like I didn't look like what I actually looked like, and basically hide part of who I was, part of my identity, part of my genes, my inevitable you know, underweight nature. I've always been healthy. I've never had an actual weight issue. I never had any, you know, body dysmorphia or anorexia or anything like that, or bulimia or anything. But I did have a really big issue with my own body. I know that usually it's more common for people to know about, you know, fat girl problems, and I don't want to be insensitive to any of that, but of course there's kind of one perspective of the whole body shaming thing that is more known about. Like, you know that overweight people like to wear really tight clothes to make themselves look curvier and thinner, and they'll do certain things to suck it in, and like wear things that make them look more fit and stuff. And little do people know that some skinny people will actually try to, and I know I'm not the only one just because I've seen similar stories from people on the internet, as well as just people I've known in the past who aren't comfortable with their own body, so like they kind of hide in their clothes and stuff like that. So that may be something that a lot of people aren't aware of, and that's probably because of the whole, you know, skinny is better, thinner is better, and all of this stuff that seems to be the belief in popular media with models and everything like that. You know, that makes for a common belief of, you know, I want to be thin, everyone wants to be thin, everyone wants to be skinny and all of that. But when you're bullied about it, when you're bullied about being skinny and you're told that you're not pretty, you're not attractive, you are basically, you believe it. You eventually believe it, and I did for 3 years. It took me a really long time to get out of that thinking, but I'm basically gonna take you guys back into my high school years and how I dealt with basically hating my body. So this all started in grade 9, and the reason I know this started in grade 9 is because I do remember being okay with myself. I wasn't like ecstatic about what I looked like in grade 7 and 8. I was okay, you know, had some friendships that told me it was okay to be skinny, and everyone was really nice, even though I had some issues, you know, girl stuff in elementary school. It was never anything about my weight. It was never an issue. So I wore normal clothes. I didn't care if my legs were showing or if my arms were showing, and that sounds crazy, but I'll get into why I'm mentioning that in a bit. I was always a very colorful person in elementary school, and then once I got to grade 9, I was introduced to the Catholic uniform, and not only was it atrocious, but it was like really bad material. It was not flattering whatsoever. It was like these navy blue pants, like khaki pants. I don't know if khaki is the color or khaki is the material, but you know what I mean. I'll show a picture here if I find something similar. I think I have pictures from my first day of high school that my dad took of me, and I look ridiculous. That was me. But yeah, and then we had these like golf tees and long sleeve shirts that were just, they were so terrible. Like, I hated them. The only thing I can think of, and I hope I can find a picture of what this vest looked like, but on Wednesdays we could actually wear a sweater vest, and that was a little cuter. I could, you know, just lounge comfy in that and not feel like I'm wearing like something ugly. But anyway, so basically it started in grade 9 just because of the uniform. I didn't think the uniform was nice, and I started to notice, you know, like, when something doesn't fit you very well, your body looks a little bit different, right? So I started to notice that people started to, you know, tease here and there about my weight, you know, and like just do the, oh, I still cringe to this day. I can't remember the last time this happened to me, but I remember people just grabbing my wrist and being like, oh my gosh, you're so skinny. And it's like, don't touch me. Like, oh, that made me so mad. I remember I would get so annoyed, and like I wish I had the strength back then to be like, okay, your point, or like, you know, talk back, but I never did. I was just like, stop, you know, and I would get like embarrassed and really ashamed of myself that that I was skinny enough for someone to notice, you know, and like grab my wrist and verify and like embarrass me in front of everyone basically and make a point of it. Looking back now, I do see how that can basically be a sign of someone else's insecurity and just trying to point out, you know, flaws in someone else they see, things that they think are flaws in someone else. But back then it really started getting to me in grade 9, and it started the beginning of a 3-year journey that I didn't even know I was going to be on. So in grade 9 we also had a niner dance, which is basically you're like new to high school and they have like a dance for that grade. So I remember going to this dance and just feeling like different, feeling like I didn't fit in. Nobody looked like me. There wasn't a lot of Spanish people even. Like, this goes way into like other things too, like ethnicity. There was a lot of white people at my high school. There were a lot of Caucasians, Canadian people in my case. There wasn't a lot of other ethnicities at this dance, and if there was, or at this dance or at school, they were very cliquey. Our school was unfortunately very racially cliquey. So that was a little weird. But basically I remember being at this dance and truly believing that because I ended up not having anyone that wanted to dance with me, I just went with one of my girlfriends from elementary school, and I never got asked for a dance. I wasn't used to that because I feel like in elementary school, you know, they push the boys to kind of like ask every girl for a dance and stuff like that. Whereas in high school, it's like, it's a free-for-all, everyone fend for themselves. And yeah, no boys were really wanting to dance with me, I guess. And I was like, well, it's probably because I'm skinny. And that's when it started becoming, you know, I felt like I was an issue. I felt like there was something wrong with me. I felt like being skinny was just not what anyone wanted to see, or not what anyone would be interested in. So yeah, the niner dance was definitely hurtful. And then came gym class. If you guys have seen my rumors told about me in high school video, you would know that there was actually a rumor about me going around that I was anorexic. Yes, so in grade 9 is when we had gym class, and basically they showed us a video. I'll say a shorter story than what I told in the rumor video because I did already tell that story, but basically they showed us a weight issues and diseases or sicknesses, or like mental illness basically surrounding weight, a video about that. And the teacher just said, like, you know, if you know anyone, talk to them and stuff like that. And then everyone was like wanting to talk to me after that and asking me if I was okay just because of how I looked. And it's like, are y'all doctors? Like, are you diagnosing me right now? Really? And I was just so uncomfortable. It was such a cringy moment for me. It was embarrassing. I was ashamed of myself. I felt disgusting. I felt just, and we had really ugly gym uniforms. We had like an oversized t-shirt and then these oversized purple like shiny shorts. They were, oh my god, they were so bad. And I looked just like sticks inside of it because it didn't fit me properly. So that didn't help. I guess at the time I didn't realize that like my uniforms made me look thinner than I actually was, but that's how people perceived me, you know. I didn't get to wear anything else other than the uniform, so I felt like I was trapped inside this body that I didn't want. So grade 9 was a rough start. It was already pretty bad, and then grade 10 came around. In grade 10 I had some toxic friends. I became friends with them and was friends with them until actually quite a while after high school, unfortunately. But they were very negative. They were very they would tell a lot of not self-deprecating jokes, but other like deprecating jokes towards other people, and especially me. They would pick on me a lot. I thought it was just, you know, we were teasing and stuff, but a lot of times they would be so nasty to me and make fun of the way I looked, make fun of my hair, my face, like how skinny I was, everything. So this was the grade that I actually started layering my clothes. I'm gonna see if I can find some pictures and show you guys. I would basically wear 2 to 3 different pairs of pants under my uniform pants. I started wearing different pants than the ones you were actually supposed to wear as uniform pants that you would get at the uniform store for the school, because I wanted something that looked better on me. I wanted something that made me look fuller, something I could, you know, wear clothes underneath. I would often wear long sleeves under my t-shirt, golf tee, white tee thing. I'll find a picture of that as well. I started really being so critical of my own body. I didn't want to ever show my arms, and this is where my previous comment comes in. I never wanted to show my arms. Something as simple as that was like just devastating to me. Like I never wanted to show my arms because they were so thin to me, and I was like, no, like I'm gonna wear long sleeves, and I would just hide in either a long sleeve or the sweater that we got to wear on Wednesdays. Yeah, like I tried to get away with like wearing sweaters on top of that, which, you know, hall monitors would always say like, hey, take off your sweater, so like you have to stay in uniform at all times. So that's kind of hard to pull off. But yeah, I basically started just layering and layering and layering clothes on top of me so that like I could just hide, and it was like my safe haven to be in all these clothes. I remember in summer it was so difficult to wear all these clothes, and people, like, you know, it would be lunch and some of my friends would want to go outside and it would be so warm and I'd be wearing all these clothes, and I'm like, at least I look good, at least I look fuller, at least maybe no one's gonna make fun of my weight today. That's what I had to live with in grade 10. I also dated a boy. He was from Guyana, and you know what they say, like, it's, I mean, at least from my experience, I'm not gonna say that this is true, but it is said that black guys like bigger girls. So I was like kind of surprised that he was into me. I think he was just into my personality, but because he would comment on my weight and say like, wow, you're so skinny. I remember he would call me Nessa. He'd be like, Nessa, you're so skinny, and I'm like, and I would just like change the subject. I didn't know how to defend myself. I didn't know that like everything that I was being told about my weight was not okay. Like if you say to someone, oh wow, you are so fat, that's not okay. So what makes it okay to tell someone you are so skinny? Like, oh, it makes me so angry still to this day, the treatment that I got for my weight in high school. Like it was just like people were heartless. People didn't know how much their words affected me, how much I beated myself up for it, how much it lowered my self-esteem. It was insane. And then grade 11 came around, and this was when I was just at an all-time low when it comes to my weight confidence. Like I was just so not about my appearance. I was trying all sorts of things. I was trying to distract you know, people from looking at my body by, you know, doing crazy hairdos on myself. I started using more makeup. I got this really big over-the-shoulder bag for school that would hide like most of my body. I just did certain things that not any normal teenager would do to get by, I guess. I don't know what I was getting at. I don't know if it made me feel better or worse, but every day it seemed like I was doing more and more to kind of look different and do more to gain weight. This is when I started being very obsessed with my weight. Started taking hunger pills, even though I've always had a healthy appetite, but I was like, maybe I don't eat enough. And then I started, you know, thinking about it. My mom would also like, she'd take me to the doctor, and the doctor would say like, she's just a little bit underweight, she's completely fine. And I remember just thinking like, oh, I just don't eat enough, which I did. But yeah, I started taking hunger pills, I started taking protein shakes, I tried exercising, I tried everything. Like I was beating myself up so much and trying so many different things to gain weight, and it just wasn't working. Like my metabolism was like, honey, this is me, take me or leave me. But not really. I have to take it because it's not going to change. Still to this day, I've weighed the same between 90 pounds and 100 pounds since I was 14, and I'm still there. Like I could still probably go into a kid's store and get some clothes, but no, at the time it was just, grade 11 was, you know, the worst. Like I just felt so ugly. I felt disgusting. I felt gross. I felt unattractive. I felt like I would never appeal to any guy. Didn't help that I couldn't hold a relationship, but at the time, like, I didn't know such thing as self-love. I didn't know that like you could make yourself happy. I always thought, you know, like, well, you gotta have a boyfriend, you gotta have someone who likes you, and like everyone was like experimenting with sexuality and stuff like that, and I wasn't. And that has nothing to do, if you're watching this and you're a teenager, that has nothing to do with you or your appearance or anything. If you're not ready, you're not ready. And I was not ready, because I confirmed that in grade 12 when it was this close to happening. And I was like, no, I don't love this person. And I'm glad that I did wait, because I feel like if I would have been like everyone else in high school, I would have, you know, lost my virginity to someone I didn't truly love. But that's besides the point. Grade 11 was also, I believe, when it started being really, really popular that, you know, curvy girls are the new thing. You know, like the media was promoting that and making it, I think, illegal, and like banning super skinny models and stuff like that. I remember seeing quotes, I think MSN was still around at this time, or BBM maybe, I don't know. But I remember just seeing on, you know, social media, whatever it was at the time, MySpace, I don't know, I'm old. But girls would basically, you know, stab fun at skinny people and just say things like, real men like curves, only dogs go for bones. And I remember being so upset by that. Like, that would actually kill me to see, because I was like, I would believe it. I would honestly think like I was just skin and bones and that's all I would ever be, and no one would ever want that. I hadn't grown much, even though I used push-up bras. That was the only thing to like distract people from everything else. I would, you know, makeup, hair, boobs, like push-up bras. That's what I tried to do to kind of make myself look better than I did, and it was all like self-destruction. I wasn't getting anywhere with it. It wasn't making me happy. I was pretending to be something I wasn't. I felt like a prisoner in my own body who, like, I didn't wear what I wanted to wear because I didn't want to show much skin or bones, I would have thought at the time. I wore lots of long sleeves, I wore lots of pants. Like, I would never wear shorts or skirts or dresses or little, you know, tank tops, nothing. I would always be wearing like fully clothed, because I just didn't want anyone to see how skinny I was, because a lot of people already knew and I didn't want it to be a topic of conversation. So grade 12 finally was when I let go of all of that. I found happiness in self-love. I realized I wasn't gonna change. I've tried all the things that I've been, you know, recommended to gain weight and all of this stuff, and none of it worked. I'm just meant to be skinny, and that's okay. And I finally realized that I did it all on my own. No one helped me, no one guided me towards the right path. I just realized, like, hey, like, I'm in grade 12, I'm gonna be a grown woman soon, as if. But that's what I thought at the time. I was like, you know what, this is me. If people don't like that, that's their loss. I know I have a lot more to offer than just my body. I have a great personality. I was smart. I knew my worth. I finally was confident enough to know who I was and be okay with that. I would wear whatever I wanted. I think it helped too that prom was coming up, so I was like shopping for a prom dress and all of that. I'll put pictures of that here too. But you know, grade 12 is like, you reminisce on all your years, and I realized how much I regretted just spending 75% of my time in high school hating myself, hating the way I looked, hating that I was so skinny. And for what? For why? It was honestly so silly, and I wish I could go back and just rock it, because ever since grade 12 I've just been more and more and more confident about myself, happier with the way I look. I just am taking the time for self-care and self-love, and truly knowing that at the end of the day, no one's gonna go to the grave with me. You know, the only person who's gonna lead me to do great things, the only person who's gonna love me until I die, the only person that I can count on, all of that, it's me. And that made me very independent, that made me very confident, that made me it was a very free feeling. I felt like I was free. I broke through those chains that I had wrapped around my body that were all the layers of clothes, and I was just like, I'm done. Like, this is me and I'm beautiful. And once you believe that, people can tell. It's noticeable when you believe it yourself, because you almost manifest it into the air, and people will think you're beautiful too. But when you're insecure and you're worried about how you look and you're trying too hard and all of that, it's obvious, like people can see that. So it doesn't help your case. If you're being bullied and you think you're skinny, well, that's what people are gonna think too, because it's all you're thinking about. But it just goes to show too how much people's words can affect you, how much they can hurt, how much they can lower someone's self-esteem. I really did suffer and struggle through 3 years of high school because of my weight. I'm still not perfect. I'm not saying that this is like a happy ending, because you know, I'm always happy with how I look now. Everyone has their days, and I do too. But overall, I know that I'm enough. I know that I can't change the way my body looks. That's the way I was made, you know? I remember even some family members would make part of the bullying because they would, you know, like get me clothes that didn't fit me and it was a little bit bigger, and they would say, oh, here's for when you gain weight. Like, that is so degrading. I can't believe, like, that's a thing. And I'm at a point in my life where I'm so happy with how I look. Like, I don't want to look like anything else. Of course I'll change my hair, I'll cut it, I'll do stuff like that, but with my body, I don't work out. I mean, I try to stay healthy because I do want to take care of my body, but I don't want to change my body other than maybe some breast augmentation, because that'd be nice. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not a worry of mine to gain weight anymore. I know it's not gonna happen. I have a fast metabolism. I have skinny genes. Most of my family's skinny. It's in my blood. So I would never ever go back to a point in my life that was high school insecure about my weight. I would never ever ever. When I think of those days, I feel so sad for little teenager me, because I could have been so much happier and enjoyed my teenage years so much more if I wasn't worrying about that so much all the time. But I just wanted to make this video to help anyone who might be going through this. You don't have to abide by other people's idea of beauty. You are beautiful in your own way, whether you're skinny, whether you're overweight, whether you're average, whether you're curvy, whether you're whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Don't beat other people down if they don't look like you. I feel like that was the most common occurrence in high school, you know, like the overweight people would pick on the skinny people, and like I would reciprocate. I wasn't innocent either. Like, I would pick on bigger people too, because I was insecure, and it's the most insecure people who talk the most and who try to make other people feel bad about the way they look. But I just try to keep to my roots now. I try to stay true to myself when it comes to my lifestyle, the decisions I make, even the fit down to the videos I film, the people I interact with. I am living such an intentional life that overall, you know, my appearance is only one small dimension of me. There's so much more going on than just the way I look that it's not most of my worries. Like, I'm surprised I even did my makeup today. This took me forever, by the way. If you guys like it, you guys like it. I wanted to film it, but it took me like a really long time. I haven't done my makeup in a really long time, and I feel like doing a makeup tutorial would take me like way too long to try. So I want to, you know, play a little bit with makeup first before I do some more makeup tutorials and get back into that. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know that no matter what, you're beautiful, and I wish someone would have told me that when I was younger, instead of pick me apart, you know, and break me down. I try to look up to and surround myself with like-minded people and people who look like me. They say that it's really good to, instead of, you know, follow people on Instagram who have like the big boobs and the big ass and the, you know, the shape you would want. You can check my Instagram. I follow people who look like me, who are skinny, who are sometimes short. It's more likely for girls to be like tall and skinny, but I'm short and skinny. And I try to surround myself with stuff like that, just because, you know, it also helps me with fashion and like what do they wear, what looks good on like my body type. And it's realistic. It's not like I'm looking at a feed of a bunch of people who don't look like me, who aren't, you know, of my same ethnicity. I just want to relate more to people who look like me, and that way I'm not putting like unrealistic expectations on myself or my body, because my body is great. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, because it's free. And if you guys haven't seen my playlists, make sure to check them out. All my story times and all my other categories are on there for you guys to see, and I will see you guys next time.